Welcome to gamification technique number 6, which is color grading. The psychological effect of color is dramatically underrepresented. We can communicate so much with color, and what's so great about it is that it doesn't require the brain to do any cognition. As soon as we see a color like red or blue or pink, we instantly identify what it means. Color grading assigns a color spectrum to a range of data points. Colours can be assigned to indicate good and bad performance to your audience. It is dirt simple. Here are some colour grading examples. On the left, you can see a simple dial type of colour grading, like you would see on a dashboard or you see in fire ratings. It's really easy. Red indicates poor, yellow's kind of in the middle, and green indicates good. You can also use simple dots. I've got some dots here, red, orange, and yellow, and you can assign these dots to represent different data sets. Or you can use the dots to represent the performance of different players. And here's an example we all understand very well, the fire ratings that we see in summertime. Here's a great example of colour grading. Every year, Greenpeace puts out this Guide to Greener Electronics. And what they do is rank all of the big electronic players from best to worst. They put the worst ones in the red zone on the left, and the companies who get a really good score, who are positioned over on the right-hand side of the chart, get assigned the colour green. Now, we don't even need to think to see what is going on in this diagram. It is immediately understandable, and that's the power of assigning colour. Here's another couple of great examples. The table on the left is the safety rating of vehicles. It's immediately obvious which are the safest vehicles and which are the most dangerous vehicles. The safest vehicles get 5-star ratings in the colour green up the top, and the most dangerous vehicles only get 1 star that is assigned the colour red on the bottom. And all the other vehicles get a different colour that represents their status in between. The scorecard on the left, which again is produced by Greenpeace, shows the most ethical and sustainable food retailers ranked from best to worst. It's immediately understandable who are the best players, who are assigned green at the top, who are the medium level performers, assigned in yellow, and who are the worst performers, assigned in red. And these colours also trigger emotions that we then assign to these particular players, which in this case is companies. Colour grading can even become high-tech. The top example is called the Watson light, which shows you a different LED style of light depending on how much energy you are using. It's the same kind of model that's used in the other example of the energy jewel or the ambient orb. They are always changing colour based on how much energy you are using. The ambient orb is a great case study. It's a ball that glows red when the customer is using a lot of energy. It also glows all the other colours as well based on energy use. And these colours caused users of the device to reduce their peak energy use by up to 40%. Now, 40% is a huge reduction, and you can understand how it could possibly be this high, because having a ball in your home that was glowing different colours is an immediate and easy to understand thing. It's not something like a text message on your phone or a smart meter that's hidden on a wall, or even a number or an icon. We just can't escape the immediacy of colour. Here's a sample design I created using colour. I thought it would be a cool idea to be able to get the amount of energy that commercial buildings used and then rank all of the city buildings in a city by their energy intensity, and then put this information on a large digital screen outside the front of every building. What I've done is add the position of the building in this example. So this particular building has come 132nd place in the whole city. But numbers can take a little bit of time to digest. What we can instantly recognise, this building is scoring red, which is the worst score. You can see on the screen I've made a whole rainbow of colours. Blue indicates the 1st to the 25th place of the building, then aqua indicates the 25th to the 50th place of the building, followed by green, light green, yellow and orange, each indicating where that building places in the whole city of buildings that are all ranked in terms of their energy efficiency. If you've got a good idea for using high-tech colour grading, you can use coloured LED lights to indicate performance. You can connect the lights with your database and then make the lights single based on changes in the data. This is actually not that hard to do with simple electronics that you can buy, such as a set of LED lights, a soldering iron, and an Arduino microcontroller. And you can do easy low-tech colour grading. You can look for a color-coded design in iStock Photo, like this one that I found on the right with the number 9, or you can use simple colored stickers, or you can make your own colored scorecard. If you're doing a project with a group of individuals or a group of teams, you could easily give people a color-coded sticker based on their performance to help encourage change. Let's dive into our zero waste tutorial to see how we can apply color grading to our example. Step 1 is using the same measurements from the previous steps. Decide on 5 colors that you can apply to your players. Now, when looking at the data for our example, our target that we want the counties to get to is 0. Currently, San Francisco is in the first place, producing 1,021 pounds of trash per person. And Napa County, who's in the last place, is producing 1,616 pounds. So the reason I've put these numbers on the screen is to get a feel for the span of data that our colours need to apply to. Now, it's unlikely that any of the counties are going to jump to 0 anytime soon. So I've started the data range at 800, and I've got the data range going all the way up to 1,800. And this easily divides by 200 pounds of trash per person per year. In first place, starting at blue, we've got 800 to 1,000, then moving to 1,000 to 1,200 in the aqua colour, then green, we've got 1,200 to 1,400, moving on to yellow at 1,400 to 600, and then in last place, we've got orange that we'll use for any county that is scoring between 1,600 and 1,800 pounds. And after you assign your colours to your dataset, you might want to play around with it a bit to really get the feel right. Step 3 is to apply a colour score to your players. Based on the 5 colours from the previous slide, I've now applied those colours to the performance of each county. Now, not one single county has gotten the blue colour that is the very best colour to get. They all start on the second colour. So you've got San Francisco and Contra County coming in the aqua colour, followed by Santa Clara and Marin coming in at the green zone. Then you've got this big chunk in the yellow zone, which is fairly poor performing, and you've only got one county coming in last at the orange. So I think this distribution of colour isn't too bad. We could even use more colours. I've only used 5 here, but we could use even more granular colours and move up to, for example, 8 or even 10 colours. And so now we can apply the colours on the table in the left to the map on the right. Here is your colour grading homework. Step 1. Using the same measurements from the previous steps, decide on 5 colours that you can apply to your players. Step 2. Make sure the colours you choose are gradients of the same colour scheme that represent your numbers. So that essentially means just make sure your colours match. Make sure they naturally fade from one colour into another colour. Don't just randomly pick colours like jumbled up crayons, because jumbled up colours won't indicate a flow of data from best to worst. And step 3, apply your colour scheme to each of your players. Adding colour is a really fun way to help build out your gamification techniques. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you've come up with. Please post your homework in the Facebook group with the hashtag colour grading, and I will see you in the next chapter.